Perfect.
Can you see me?
Doesn't work. Come here, Mike. You need to come around.
We can see everybody.
Senna, come here. If you're in the chat,
I'll see you. Okay, you win on the hat. I probably didn't mind you that. No, it's not got the same effect.
This is as good as it gets, people.
I knew this was a bad idea.
At the big ending.
He's got to do another verse, probably, I think.
Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah. Well, hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, it's rather dark. I don't know whether I'll leave my hat on because it's quite warm, but hey ho. I guess firstly, a massive thanks because I know you guys have not got much on at the moment and are sat resting on your laurels, but you've managed to join us. I think a busy time for all of us. So thank you very, very much.
Who's busy?
Nobody's busy.
No.
Having us.
Yeah, thank you.
You may regret it. He already does. Yeah.
It's
By the way, we have Victor Franco, our technical assistant, way in the back. Wave, Victor. No one can see him, but he's actually there.
Oh, drag him on the screen. You can wave at him.
Come here, Victor. Do a quick peek. A quick walk on. Here, we'll make room. Make room for the beaver right here in the middle.
Special guest.
There it is. That was it. That's all you get. Otherwise, we have to start paying royalties.
So we're all set, guys. We've got donuts.
We do have donuts.
And is it true that donuts power all the great inventions of the world? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Donuts certainly power us.
Yeah, raw table sugar for me, pretty much.
That's the only reason Victor's here. I had to bribe him with donuts. Sprinkles.
Look, I see Dio back there.
Dio? Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh.
Well, let's see. Fully automated.
Beautiful.
Anyway, so let's throw some questions, and we've got really difficult ones. Not really. You three are, I guess, inseparable. Slightly lunatic. But tell us all a little bit about the background. I mean, how did it all start? How did you meet? And how did you make this beautiful relationship between three legends?
You know, Mike and I originally met through R2LA, which was kind of a joke. The R2 Builders Group was having a get-together in 2003, and they called it R2DC because they were Washington, D.C. And I joked on the board, on the Yahoo groups. I said, oh, we should have a West Coast version. We'll call it R2LA. Ha-ha, you know. And then a gentleman named Michael Granick writes me, like an hour later, says, well, when are we doing it? I said, doing what? R2LA. Just kidding. He says, no, we'll have it at my house. Well, long story short, he checks with his wife. His wife says, absolutely not. But I know a guy, my neighbor, Mike Senna, and he's already built an R2, which at the time was unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, so then he contacted me, and he said, I'm thinking of having it at my house. And I go, why don't we have it at my house? And he goes, hey, good idea. So then I kind of got duped into this thing. And then what? How many now?
15, 16?
16?
16. We had 16 in last
years
September.
Later.
Wow, that's 16 years.
Yeah, maybe about 100 people now. From 12 to like 180.
Isn't it fair just to rotate it rather than have it at your house every year?
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody's would want to house that many people.
I would do it, but I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I'm so far out that nobody would dare venture.
Nobody would go there. Plus,
Victor would if I had donuts, but
it's been talked about to move it to like a venue, like a hotel or something, but I wouldn't want that. It's not the same.
Not as personal.
It's not personal, and then you have to leave at a certain point in time, and well, you still have to leave at a certain point in time here. A lot of people don't, and we end up staying up till the next day, maybe 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning.
And then Gordon and I, how did we meet?
We met, ran kind of in a similar way that Senna and I met too, where prison, yeah. No, I was doing 3PO stuff, but I lived in Florida, so the other side of the country, and a guy found me through the internet where people find things, and brought me out to be 3PO for a spoof that he was doing, and McMaster was there with Wally and R2D2.
Well, we had met prior to that when I was at Star Wars Weekends in Florida.
Yeah, or Star Wars Celebration.
Or Celebrate, right?
Yeah, in 2012. But it was like literally like a handshake, like hi. So I knew who he was, but that was like we didn't talk for him. It was like just an introduction. And then with Senna, it was a really similar thing where someone found me on the internet and brought me out to Las Vegas for a thing, and Senna was there, and that's how I met Senna. So I met both of them before I moved to California. So. That was,
don't die.
So when I got out here, it was very convenient to know people, which is good. So
my favorite Vegas job.
Yeah.
My favorite job ever.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. That's a whole. Go in a book.
Yeah.
Holy moly!
A lot of weird adventures with these guys. I mean, and it's funny because we talk about a lot of fun things, but I mean, probably 90% of our stories we can't share because of one reason or another. One crazy stuff.
One reason or another.
When they finally kick us out permanently from the Disney Lucasfilm family, then boy, we've got some stories to tell.
Yeah, not only
that's a book, 2 books, and a documentary.
Yeah.
The people that were acting funny and the whole funny thing is just people will get angry for us retelling those things.
Yeah.
And then Lucasfilm and Disney.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, wait, that happened?
We like working.
Was Mike the first one to have an R2? Was that the first build then, effectively, within your
one
group?
of the
It was one of the earliest out here. Here's the problem. I did not belong to any of the prop groups or anything. So I built this Stormtrooper, and I decided to join the 501st. And I didn't know anyone. Being a geek, a true geek, I didn't feel comfortable being around even geeks. So I had my trooper costume, and I said, hey, can I go to this event? And it was for the City of Hope or something. And the guy goes, oh, you were supposed to sign up like 2 weeks ago. We did a background check and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, sorry, man. So then that was it. I didn't do anything with my trooper. And I saw the R2s and looked that up, found the builders, and then started building. So, I knew nobody. So I thought everybody was working super fast. And actually, nobody was working at all.
Selecting parts.
The story of your life.
We didn't know anybody. So we had all this. We invited everyone, didn't know anyone except through emails. So I stuck a fake alarm system on my wall. My wife was hiding the calendars. Anything that had personal information on it was locked away in the vault. And we didn't want anybody snooping around trying to find out who we were and our secret identities. So that's what we did. So then they came in and we're both going, what are we doing? I don't know. There's going to be a dozen people here. We don't know anybody, and they're all coming to our house.
All strangers.
Who the hell are they?
Yeah.
So everyone comes over, and they're like friends. It's like a high school reunion.
Yeah.
It was so crazy. So they're looking at my droid, and it's almost done. And they're saying, oh, man, how long did it take you? And I go,
3 weeks?
It's taken me 11 months so far.
And we couldn't believe it. Because it took me 11 months just to collect a dome.
So they freaked out. And I was like, why are you freaking out? Everyone's working so hard.
And none of us.
And they're getting pissed off at me. They're going, I just have a dome for 2.5 years. I have this for 2.5. I'm like, oh, crap. Been duped by the internet.
But then he spurred the rest of us on. See, then there was a target to hit.
Right.
You could see that there was light at the end of the tunnel. You actually could achieve it. You could build a droid, and the rest of us said, "Well, I guess now we have to, out of shame." But
well, see, the build I guess started with building and then competing against other builds. So I guess we never stopped, and we just keep trying to build better and better things,
and it's to this day
trying to go forward. And then we keep bouncing off, I think, each other, going. Well, at least with McMaster and I think.
Yeah, nothing. No, we can't bounce things off Gordon because restraining order.
Yeah, restraining order.
Yeah. So Gordon, you've not got. Have you got an R2, or are you just?
I've got a lot of parts for an R2. I started in 2011, 2010, 2011, something like that. Sort of collecting pieces. I've got a whole bunch of parts. Nothing's built.
But
Everyone always has a big butt.
Yeah, everybody's got a big butt. That's
cannot
especially
lie.
me. But no, I just have too many projects, and then I have a lot of work, so my projects are spread really thin. And everybody's like, "Are you doing anything?" And I work on stuff all the time, but it's always like 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. So it takes a long time for me to complete something unless I have a deadline. Somebody's like, "Hey, I need an R2 in a month." I would put it together. If someone's like, you need this here, it's important, I could finish it. But if not, it's into my list.
But you have finished a lot of things.
I finished lots of things.
3PO.
I've gotten the 3PO always in progress, and
Money's always a motivator.
Yeah. Money is a giant motivator, and especially when paying my rent, that's a good motivator
Eating,
too.
food,
Eating,
toilet paper.
paying my rent, those things are like the biggest motivators. And I've been fortunate to have some really, really good work in the last few years. So I've been freelance. In February, it'll be 3 years, and really, really cool projects. I can't talk about like 80% of them usually, which is lame. And like a year from now, I can probably mention some of them. But
you can mention some of your past ones, right?
Yeah, some of them. A lot of neat stuff, but it takes away from my personal projects. It's pretty rare. I think in this year, I took a day off like a few weeks ago, and then the last day I had off completely where I didn't do anything was July 4th.
It was that one day where you slept.
Yeah, but then I woke up and I still did work that day too.
Yeah. You were working your sleep, yeah.
But so it's been really busy. So my own projects are like on back burner forever, which is great.
So, I mean, going over that, I don't know, 14, 15 years of the R2D2 Builders Club as it kind of developed, how would you describe its change since then over that period? I mean, what's happened? How did it get from there to where it is now?
Social media got us.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the home stuff was, or a lot of the home base for R2 builders used to be astromech.net. And then with Facebook and the Facebook groups, it's just all slowly moving towards there, which is kind of weird because the reason why we ended up with a forum is because we were on Yahoo discussion group right before. So it was very much like Facebook. It was like this serial read where you just read things and read things and read things and read things, and then it's like the question comes again, but the
it's all linear.
Here. So it's all so linear that now it's like we don't want to go on the forum, we want to go on the Facebook group, and it's all freaking linear, and it's all where are the files?
Yeah, we've somehow come full circle. We've gone backwards somehow
to the Facebook, to the Yahoo thing. So I have no idea why that's happening. No idea. It's the forum's a lot nicer place to have discussion.
Yeah, and how's the social growth on the back of that? So you started and you had your first event. How many people turned up, and what's the kind of size of it now? And you've got families and things going and all that.
Yeah, there were like a dozen people at the first one, and one nearly finished droid, and then a lot of parts, and one that was the all metal one, Dave Painter. And now, your last event, you had about
180 probably
people.
Wow. Okay.
And how many droids?
All of them. 40.
Yeah, all
40?
of them.
40 plus, right?
Well, at least at one point we counted like 60 in a previous one.
I mean, almost
there must have been at least 60 there this time too.
Yeah, second only to maybe Celebration as far as the number of droids. It's crazy. I mean, and a variety.
So you got to keep buying a bigger house then, I guess.
Yeah.
We're thinking of going more exclusive, so
okay.
Really upset.
So by invitation.
It's going to be a vetting process and a test of strength.
We're going to have to go through, make lists, check it twice, and there's actually a lot of people that come that are not R2 builders that we've kind of pulled along, and that's probably going to be cut.
Right.
It's going to be sad.
You are going to have to narrow it down a little bit. How did you flip from meeting together as builders to working closer together, and then that shift into being professionals, or it paying the rent, so to speak?
Well, it's funny. Mike and I both in 2005 started doing work, kind of on the side of doing appearances for Lucasfilm and we've sort of built on that. I mean, it was literally just an appearance now and then all of a sudden you're doing a commercial, or then you're building things, or it was a very slow, I don't know what do you even call that.
Well, plus, I mean, I'm probably gonna piss off a lot of people too, but plus you tend when you meet people and they're professionals and they're gonna complete, and if they say we're gonna be done at this time and it's complete, we promise you this, and it's there. Those are the type of people I think we all gravitate to, and if they're that much more in the reliability side, then it sticks even harder. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's
you deliver.
Well, yeah, we're all sort of A-type personalities, which is a benefit most of the time. But even then, because of that, once in a while we clash and have disagreements, but we always come around and get the job done. So that's kept us employed.
And what percentage of your time do you spend working in that sphere now? Is it full time? I know you've got the farm, obviously, Michael. I don't know about Gordon.
Yeah, I have 2 full-time jobs essentially right now.
Right. Okay.
Challenge.
I think that goes for both of us.
Yeah. He's been very busy.
Yeah, this past couple months, it's like if you look at my social media, you won't see anything, but it's like so. It's all the stuff that you can't talk about, and then it's just a lot of events and a lot of filming and a lot of stuff that, like Gordon was saying, probably in a year or 2 I can talk about. Like, I'm just being so beaten right now. I think hopefully by the end of this month it'll be
calm
lightening
down
up.
a tiny bit. Yeah.
I'll get rid of some of the projects and some will stay.
But there's some of those. Okay, let's flip into some stories then that you can talk about. There must be stuff in the past. there must be adventures that you've done. In fact, you've sent me a whole bunch of pictures anyway, which has got some photographs. Rogue One, for example.
Anything there that piques your interest when you're perusing photos? Maybe you can call something up and we can.
Well, here's some stuff. We went to my Wally was almost done. It was like painted, and I got this gig for an awards thing for
theme park.
Awards for and Anthony Daniels was giving an award to Star Tours.
This was an animal.
So what happens was they gave me this. They gave me the award, and I said, "Is this award the same size?" It was the exact same size. So I made this tray that fit the award. Long story short, I take it in there. We're 2 away from the award presentation. They give me the award that's supposed to go in there, and I plop it in, and it just barely fits. And I had built it with a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. So I got an 1/8 inch on either side, but this thing still was like snug. So I put it in and I twisted it and it plopped in and I could hardly pull it out. So I shake it and shake it, shake it, and I took it out, put it in, shake it, shake it, shake it, and pulled it out. And I go, holy shit, I got to go talk to Anthony Daniels. So I find him and I go, come here really quick. And so I showed him how to do it. And I go, do you have it? But first time he tried it, couldn't get it out. Second time, he pulled it right off. And so I go, okay, you know how to do this? And he says, yeah, right. And so I go, good. So then I roll the droid out. It hits a crack on the stage. And unbeknownst to me, it just went in as far as it could possibly go.
Bottoms out.
So I ran the droid on stage. And then he saw what happened on the monitor.
Yeah. I'm watching the monitor backstage. And of course, Anthony, total professional, and he goes, oh, R2, you have an award for me. And he goes and pulls on it, and it doesn't come up. And he kind of laughs, and he looks out at the audience. Oh, these astromech droids. He pulls it a second time. Does not come up. And he looks out at the audience, and he makes some other little quip. But as he looks back, I can see he's starting to sweat. He pulls on it a third time, and I hear a crack. And he has pulled the entire base with him. This huge base is attached to the award, and all he can do is walk over and hand it to this poor recipient, this woman. And she's like struggling to hold this huge piece of MDF with this award, and she's collapsing under the weight of it. Oh, yeah, there you go.
See, it's right here.
And,
it's on there, yeah.
Base came in.
There's the base, and I could be the woman, and she was just like,
so this base of the award was made of solid granite, and the top of it was about right here, and it was all glass. So it was super heavy.
Really heavy, yeah. And so Anthony then, he walks off stage with R2, and he's, got a smile on his face, and he's acting like 3PO, and he comes through the curtains where I'm at, and he goes, "Oh my God." And years later, we run into him. We're in the green room. It was before episode 7, and we were back there. Remember? And we mentioned to Anthony, Mike says, "Oh, we worked with you before." And he goes, "Oh, really? When?" He goes, "The Theo Awards." And he goes, "Oh." He immediately recalled that. And Mike tries to tell the story.
I start telling the story, and he just looks at me and goes, No. Let me tell it.
and he acts it all out. And I saw him last week, and he said, "That is literally one of the worst things I've ever had happen." He said, "I'll never forget it." And so that's, I guess, good and bad.
Yes.
Excellent. Right, you said I could pull pictures up, so I'll start. We'll go for this one with Gordon.
Oh, that's me.
Oh yeah, and it's they're beheaded.
It's cropped interestingly.
It's cropped in a way that you can't see.
So that I know the photo.
Interesting.
That is.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. That's on the table move. That's
so
Claire Grant. That is Seth Green's wife, and we had done a shoot for Nerdist. It's Nerdist, right? Nerdist, and they have a group called Team Unicorn, and they did some spoof music video, and they wanted 3PO there. And that was right when I moved to LA. I think McMasters got me in on that.
Yeah.
And so they're doing this thing.
Suckers you in on that.
Yeah.
Victor Franco's there.
Yeah, Victor was there.
Claire Grant
was that
too.
Claire Grant.
What did I say? Claire Grant?
No, you said Seth Green's wife. So
Yeah, I said Claire Grant. Seth Green's wife. Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
And
Claire Grant.
That's Victor Franco, everybody, correcting our grammar in the row of shame.
And,
So yeah, look, brilliant.
And, the whole group, it was very fun. And I think I'd only been in LA for maybe 3 weeks or something when that happened.
And so Claire came back, and she was admiring Gordon's leotard, wired leotard.
Yeah, I look like a dancer.
And so I just went to take a photo with them, and that's the pose they did, just out of the blue. It's one of my favorite pictures.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's always something fun.
Yeah. So that's an incredible physique as well, I've got to say.
Glad you noticed.
Yeah. Obviously, it takes a lot of work, I think.
Keep my girlish figure. No.
Donuts.
Yeah.
Red vines.
Red vines.
He runs on red vines. There is a photo in there of eating red vines.
Yeah.
On another set. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's probably a lot of red vines.
Yeah, there's... And then
there's a good one.
This is, I guess, is the normal mode of transport, is it?
So, at the end of the day at a convention, everybody's tired. And this guy, he had just pooped out, and he sat in the cart, so we decided that's the best way to take him home, load him in the van. And I happened to snap that because he's constantly doing stupid things that make me laugh, and that's one of them.
So that's not his permanent mode of transport, then?
No, I wish it was, though.
Yeah, it'd be convenient, wouldn't it?
So,
He would like a little throne and with the fans and the
So a question which has come through on the feed about the robot chicken and how you three managed to appear in an episode of that.
yeah, so should I get...
Yeah, so you go grab that. I'll explain this a little bit. So Matthew Senrich and Seth Green, they're the ones that created Robot Chicken. And we become friends with Matthew. And we would take the robots to his son's school just as a favor to him. We didn't want anything from it. And at the last one we had done where we went to his son's school, we had R2 and Wally and 3PO. And Matthew said, "Is there anything I can do for you guys? Pay for your gas, whatever." And we're all no. And then Mike says...
I said, anything you want us to do. And I said, would you consider making puppets of us? And he said, "Yeah, I can make that happen." And then,
Look at those.
so then he said, "Yeah, I can make that happen." And then I was like so happy, and I'm walking around going, "Yeah, they puppets us and all this stuff."
And they took photos of us that day.
Well, then 10 minutes later, I'm like, "Well, if you make puppets for us, maybe we could leave them there and maybe they can get in the show somehow." And he's like, "I can make that happen."
And we're like, "What?"
And I was like, "Oh my God, no way."
Yeah. And I had told him Yeah, and I told him that my favorite episodes are the ones with Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th.
Yep.
Those are my favorite episodes, and I think that when he saw they were going to do an episode with Jason, I don't know if that was intentional or not, or maybe it's just a happy accident. But when I found out, they call us to say like a year and a half later, whenever it was, they said, "Yeah, we want you to come see your episode." So we went to Robot Chicken, and it was a Friday night, and they're showing all these little clips, and we get to see ourselves, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we're in a scene with Jason Voorhees." And I was just like, I peaked that day, and then it's all been downhill.
Was that it? That was a highlight. The highlight of your career.
And we weren't for anything. We weren't really looking for. We were just doing what we just felt we needed to do for a friend, and our friend suddenly reciprocated with something awesome.
Yeah, it was very, very nice of him to do.
It was a very great, cool gesture.
And you have an incredible bunch of celebrities, haven't you?
I don't have to explain this. This makes me angry.
It's a bit washed out. That what is it?
So that is.
This is the nerd. Oh, it's washed out.
Okay.
Don't knock a guy down.
Yeah, explain why.
Yeah, the nerd.
That is the nerd.
How does it get unwashed out?
You'd have to tap. I don't know.
Put it really close to the camera.
They're super close to the camera.
Oh, right on his face.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
There it is. All right. So that's a real one, right?
Yeah. If you look up the nerd, you'll see his unicorn shirt and his jacket. But
how did you obtain that?
We just went to an auction for Robot Chicken, and I saw it there, and I said, that has got to be mine. So I placed a high bid on it, thinking, I'm going to get that, and it's going to be no problem. And I come back like 10 minutes later, and I see this idiot. He raised the price $100.
Because I knew he really wanted it.
And I was furious. Because, what was it? It started at 500, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he put it up to 600. And I was so pissed off.
I never heard this story.
Yeah.
So I boosted it. It wasn't like that. I think he put 650 or something.
Yeah.
It was 600. I think he put 650. It was something ridiculous. And I looked at him and I was like, "What?"
It was for charity. But I knew he really wanted it. And
my buddy just cost me $100. $100.
Yeah. And I said either I'll win it and then I can just wave it in his face, or he'll eventually buy it. It'll win-win.
Either way, yeah, it's good to play.
That was the typical when we don't really get along together and we get pissed off at each other.
He eventually talked to me.
Because I immediately went over to him and said, "The fuck are you doing? Can you say it on the internet?" That's you just. And then I just
sorry,
said,
Facebook Live.
I said, "You just cost me $100, and if you do that again."
but he still loves me. Well,
but lucky he didn't bid again. And
yeah, I knew better at that point. My wife said, "You better stop."
And I won it for a measly $700. Bastards.
You're welcome.
A question, and it's not spoiler question, I don't think. You won't be able to answer it because it's about the Mandalorian. But hey, so in the trailer for the Mandalorian, there was a R2 droid which had some slightly different vents. Do you know the designation for it? If somebody's asked.
No. The fan guys have to make up the designation.
Right. Okay.
Episode 6 had some great characters in it.
Yes, and that's all.
The dumbest answer. Hold on. That's the Senna, the R2SENNA.
You made it up. Right.
R2MS.
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 That's it. That's a designation for that one.
Named after the legendary god.
Yeah, why not?
Let's talk superpowers then. So the three of you work incredibly well together. And also, well, okay, the three of you work together at some time.
We work together.
Yeah. Okay.
from time to time.
How would you describe each of you in kind of a short? What is your superpowers within that group? So
Gordon is all energy. 100% of the time.
I don't sleep much. So.
He doesn't sleep. We just hang him in a closet and then pull him back out and feed him a red vine and a bag of sugar.
Pretty much ready to go. Yeah.
So,
just being able to, I can work like 20-hour days probably without a problem. So
probably the question is like, what do we use each other for?
Well, no, he was asking what Mike Senna, I would say, is brilliant. Kissing is brilliant. And
I think I use Gordon for his molding abilities.
Okay.
I can make molds and stuff. Yeah, so that works.
But he can do much, much more than that. But if I were to ask, like, oh God, I need this, I would say, Gordon, can you help me with this mold?
And when I need anything with programming, there's one guy I go to.
Okay. So
I'm like the village idiot. I can like wield a hammer, and that's about it. So I have to rely on him for all the.
So what's McMasters' superpower then?
I can eat donuts.
He can build all kinds of things. Great at fabricating stuff. Like really, super good at fabricating
stuff with like the steel pieces and aluminum pieces and putting them together and casters and motors and chains and putting it all together and making something look nice, like
a finished object,
like a droid.
Oh yeah.
Like a what is that droid? Chopper, like a chopper. And like a mouse droid. Ooh. Just all those droids. Stuff.
And Gordon does some awesome paint jobs as well, doesn't he?
What's that?
Gordon does some awesome paint jobs, painting and finishing.
I paint. I did artwork for years and years, so painting is a thing that I do. Yes, so,
he can even do matte paintings.
I can even do matte paintings.
He's done some. Seriously beautiful.
I do all kinds of work. I really, I got a very random skill set. So people usually will say, "Can you do this?" And I just go, "Yeah," and then I go do it.
And you go and do it.
I usually am panicking in my brain, but I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." And then I go home and I
watch YouTube.
Yeah, watch YouTube, go on Google, and then I turn back up with the thing done, and the people are generally impressed and like, "Wow, great job!" And then they give me more work, so that's good. But they don't know that I'm panicking on the inside. It's insane.
We're all panicking on the inside.
So
I keep a cool face
on the inside right now.
So have you got any current projects you can talk about?
Let's see.
Personal.
I do a lot of work for Regal Robot. Like product development stuff, and right now I'm working on a studio scale Rancor that's basically scanned from the real prop, and I'm doing all the digital work on that to get it all ready. When I leave here today, I'm going to be working on that more. That's going to be produced soon, but it's 1-to-1 scale of the puppet, perfect, beautiful thing. I'm working on that right now. A couple busts for Regal Robot that. I'm going to avoid talking about them yet. I think he mentioned it, but I let you look at Tom Spina's page and see if he said it because I can't remember. And I don't want to out it and be wrong. So, but I do a lot of work for Tom Spina in replica. Not even replica, like real movie prop restoration. So, let's see. Again, also for Tom Spina. He hires me for lots of stuff. I'd say probably 65, 70% of my work comes through Tom in some either Regal Robot or Tom Spina designs. So, yeah. But... Let's see, movie prop road. What I worked on last? I worked on some. Yeah, say it. Don't say it.
Don't say that.
It's hard because some stuff is like right on the fence. Like I could probably talk about it, but if you're not sure and you do the wrong thing, it's like, should I have said that thing? See, look at them whispering back and forth. Like, what can I talk?
Like, should I talk about this? And
I'm like, shut up.
He says, no.
What's hard is I like to put a lot of stuff online, and I've had months where I'm just like the last 5 months probably, I've barely been on. I can't post anything I worked on, and I'm like, and all the stuff that I could post doesn't seem cool because of the stuff I'm working on so much neater, and I'm like,
our Instagrams are really boring.
Yeah, it's
blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
What can I say? What can I say? Just working on developing technology. Mike's developing technology.
Okay.
New technology. and that's all I'm allowing him to say.
Let's shift the question over to Mike then. Go on, Mike. What are you working on? Give us some indication. Speak vaguely.
I'm working on new technology.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
He can tell you what I'm working on, but he won't.
I forgot already. No, we're doing things, for the parks, and we just things we can't talk about right now, and it's frustrating because Gordon and I got to do a project recently, and Mike and I got to shoot a show, and all these things that we have to just wait for to come out, and
it's electrical and mechanical stuff that is pretty much new stuff, and
it's new technology.
It's required stuff to be able to operate for some of the companies that we're working for. But
notes here.
But it's stuff that nobody's developed yet.
Not yet.
And it's been developed, and we're basically testing the stuff, and it just seems to be beautiful.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
It's really beautiful stuff.
I agree.
And
so
cutting edge.
It might be seen like somewhere.
It'll
be seen.
What's hard too.
So I can summarise that. It's beautiful stuff that's technical that will be seen at some point.
That's in a nutshell. That's it.
Brilliant.
It's the worst part. Sometimes things are announced, but you're still not allowed to talk about your role in it, and that's the hardest because, like, hey, there it is. I can see it everywhere, and I can't say anything
a word
for who knows, maybe forever. And it's
so we call each other and then discuss it, or
"Oh."
Mike and I will talk about something because you just got to get it out to somebody. I'll talk to my dog, and he keeps great secrets.
Pace around my house.
Yeah, that's the worst part of it, actually. Is because I came into this being a creative person, trying to help the R2 builders and developing stuff for the club and all that stuff. And I'm really free with the designs, and I want to tell people and show, hey, look at this thing. You guys can use it, and it's been used, my stuff. So when it comes down to this, I'm developing stuff like, damn, you can use it, but these people can use it. These people can use it.
They would benefit from it, yeah.
But then it's like, you're developing it for this one certain thing, and it's just
we've always been open like you and your 3D modeling. Imagine all of a sudden you develop something and now it's proprietary.
Yeah.
That's frustrating. It's exciting but frustrating.
I've had a thing where I've started something, and then a big client will pick it up, and then all of a sudden I had the intent to share files, and all of a sudden, I can never post those files anywhere because unless I alter them or something in some different way. Because I can't share them, and sometimes I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to share the files," and then people are like, "Are those done?" And I'm like, "They're done, but I can't share them anymore," and that's sad.
Well, I heard Gordon was possibly releasing 3D files for EV full droid. Is that true?
Again, yes, and now I can't.
I'm just reading the questions out, guys. I'm not asking them.
That was like when I started. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to put these out," and then it was like, oh, I can't share them. So that's super sad. But however, I actually am redoing those now, and I think I will be able to share the newer versions because it won't quite be the same as the previous versions. So I think it'll be okay. But I got to do that part, and I'm not going to touch them for probably 3 more months. So, but eventually, yes, that'll be excellent. I'm glad to share them once they come out. It's really cool, but then got one sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, this is neat. I can't give it away yet. So, but actually, what's kind of awesome is that the newer version will have some slight tweaks that actually make it a little bit more accurate, like barely noticeable to anybody but myself, because I just got access to some things where I was like, oh, I was wrong here, and now I know, and I'm going to fix it for the next version. So. The version I do put out will be more accurate than the one that I made previously, which is good. But barely noticeable. Again, I don't think anybody would be able to tell it apart except for me. So, but I know it makes me feel better.
When we were talking to Lee, we were kind of talking about as a builders club, we've tried to get everything as accurate as possible, and then suddenly he's in a position where he's building the reference model. So it's kind of
funny how that comes around.
Complete flip, yeah, exactly. Which it's weird to be, and most, I guess you guys are saying, you remain on both sides of the fence. So you're making you're making the stuff for the builders things, but then also you've got to keep the proprietary stuff a little bit to yourselves.
Yeah, and it's or you don't want it to be the version that's out that everybody's got is identical to the one that the client got, for kind of a lot of money that they paid, and then all of a sudden, everybody can make the exact same thing. That doesn't fly well. So
that's so true. So even if it's not proprietary, but it's something that you're developing for that could be for yourself, Gordon's exactly right. It's like you're gun shy to like announce it to everyone before the client gets it and uses it.
Yeah, definitely put a few things. There's definitely multiple projects that I started that I'm like I was going to put online, and then I was like, well, I can't anymore. Exact thing I said, and it's like you know that now someone just paid you a bunch of money for it, and if you put their product online, you feel real bad.
It just devalues it.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah.
Kind of an unwritten rule.
Yeah.
You just don't want to do.
Oh, any plans to visit any events in the UK? Is a question that's come in. Do you get a crossover to the glorious Highland very often?
Yeah, if the timing was right and my finances were right, I would love to. I would, because just the neatest group of builders over there. Everyone that we've met has just been so kind, and a lot of them have come here for celebration. And
yeah, I'm in the same boat. I would love to also, but haven't yet. Same deal. If McMasters will give me a lot of money,
here, can I?
That's what he had to pay for a project. Was like, just fly me over.
Yeah, we'll just the next job we'll just buy plane tickets. Come to your house.
Yeah, you're welcome. August
intervention.
We have our I think you've agreed to it now, so we just need to arrange the details. Thank you for that. I'll see if you can just sign here. And we'll never talk about it ever again. Yeah. So how have you seen building change? Because you've seen the building community build from that tiny geeks building R2D2s in their backyard right the way up to, which it seems to be quite a large movement now, really, doesn't it?
3D printing has made it vastly more accessible to a lot of people, in one way or another, for good and for bad. I think it's made it easier to make really technical things that were tricky to build before without specialty tools. And if you're a 3D modeler, it's awesome because you can come up with your own contraptions. And if you're just a builder who, doesn't have that skill set, people put files out, obviously, and then it makes it very nice for people who want to make the thing but don't have all the skills involved. They don't need a machine shop or anything like that.
Yeah, it's a time saver and a huge money saver because before I would have to have a prototype made by someone, have to have drawings made and get it to a machine shop and then
hopefully it's right.
Yeah, and hopefully it's right. Yeah, where now, Gordon will talk about something and he'll knock out a model and I'll throw it on the printer.
And if it's
this
wrong,
works or it doesn't work.
If it's wrong, change it in like 20 minutes, send it back, and then print another one.
And cost pennies.
And sometimes a lot of times the printed part is totally workable in the build. And the thing we just finished, like half that thing, 3/4 of the thing I made was fully 3D printed. I didn't have to make any molds. I used the prints, and it was, good to go.
It'll be exciting when he can talk about that. That was a pretty amazing project, and that was my 2-week build I was joking about. I was part of that, and it'll be nice when we're free to talk about that, I guess, next summer.
Yeah.
But
I guess my take on it is that technology is brilliant where it is now. If it did get to a point where you could print things out that were robust, solid, fully printed, fully painted, and you didn't have to finish them, I'd lose interest. I think.
Yeah, it'd be a little sad.
There's no skill and there's no artwork and there's no contribution other than just the 3D modeling. And I still like the
personal
flair to it.
Yeah, everybody's droid is unique and different because of all the little things that the touches they've added to it. And if everybody has the same thing, suddenly it's like a cookie cutter. It's not as exciting.
Yeah, and I always have used it as well, right? At first when I got my 3D printer, I was doing stuff with it, but then it's so dumb. I'd come into this shop and start welding like little tiny tubes and pieces together to try to make something, right? The arm that shoots out of BB-8. And then I started looking at doing this, and I was welding this, cutting it off and putting it back together. And then suddenly, like 2 days later, I'm like, I've got a freaking 3D printer sitting right there. It's like I can easily move. I could just take a couple of measurements and be done with this thing. So I finally did. I went through maybe 3 or 4 iterations, but I could have never done it with that type of precision that I wanted to, using welding and stuff like that. But I will be honest with you, some of the people that come out and grab the other person's files and starts printing them and creates their model that they glue together, and then they go use it for events or sell it or use it for official events and just call it their own. It's like it really irritates the hell out of me.
It's a little irksome.
If they get pinged, like I did a call out for pit droids. That thing was a cluster because I got all these people going, I got a pit droid, I got a pit droid, I got a pit droid. I can do it for you in like 30 days. And I'm like, really? Let me see if they would want it in 30 days. Pinged another guy, and he said he actually designs the files and everything for it. And so I pinged him and I said, hey, can you do this stuff? And he goes, yeah, I've done official stuff with the pit droid before. And I said, that's great. I said, how soon can you get one done? He said, probably about 2 weeks. And I go, let me make sure. And he goes, that's funny. Another guy, a couple guys just called me about the pit droids. And I'm like, what? So they said they need it as soon as possible. And I'm looking at him, and I'm going, what? And so it irked me to the point, just because these other guys were trying to get it from him so that they could put it in this thing, where we all would go, any maker with any morals would just go, hey,
we'd forward
you, the guy that makes them. There's an opportunity for you. Go for it, man. And here's the contact of the person you got to contact, right?
Yeah. It's like somebody coming to me asking for a protocol droid, and then I say, yeah, I can build it. And then I tell Gordon I need something real fast, and I pass off his work. It's just.
And then
how many times have you done that?
What's that?
Then how many times have you done that?
0.
I had a thing happen. I did some stuff for Galaxy's Edge, and Imagineering bought a part for me like a year before I ended up getting the work to do the thing. And in the time, I thought that they just got somebody else to do it. But in that time, I had all these people reach out to me to buy the same piece. And it was like people that worked at like big shops in LA that do like effects work and stuff. And I'm like, why do they want this? And I stopped selling the thing for almost a whole year, because I was like, these people are trying to snipe it. I know that they're trying to put a bid on this thing. And then it came back around and I ended up getting the gig. It's awesome because it's one of those things that shows up in thousands of pictures. I can go on Instagram and find pictures of my stuff like right away. But if I would have sold one of these things for like $200, that company would have like molded it, and they would have got like tens of thousands of dollars to do all the work that I would have done with my own part. That I have the original piece. It's like a casting of an original part that
and that's brutal on the business level, but on the fan base level, you're going to do that to other fans and the creators that are creating for you. That's screwed.
Yeah, especially when they're giving the files out for free.
It's especially when the files are coming for free, and that's the thing that really gets me on the 3D printing side. If they had created it themselves, I'm fine with that, but.
It's kind of like when Napster came out, and they like the music, and then suddenly it's bits. I'm thinking about like what it took to model that part. And you're a 3D modeler, and people come to you, randos, and they're like, "Hey, can you make this thing?" They think it's just gonna be fun for you, and you're just gonna do it for like, it's a really complex thing I need 3D modeled, and it's got to be perfect. And they don't understand that it takes a lot, like many hours or weeks sometimes to sit in front of the computer, niddling all these little details, and that's like. That can be hard when people just, I don't know. It doesn't happen as much now, but when like a few years ago, it happened all the time where people just like, hey, can you model this thing? I'm like, I can. That's going to cost me, like 10 days of work sitting in front of a computer all day. And I like to be outside on a bicycle. So.
Yeah. Now, a message has just come saying a big thanks, Mike, for what you just said from one of the group. And apparently you know why, so thank you for that. If you talk in code, we can talk in code, okay? I know. I mean, the group we've got, and I guess one of the things I'm really passionate within the group is keeping the culture together. You know, I find it irksome people, particularly the Disney haters, the people who, you know, want to just tell how crap all the new films are. Those people that, you know, just want to come in and say, right, where's the files, and run off with them. The group's just lovely. They are, you know, to get to the size that it is and not to have any of that, or very, very, very little of that, it's quite special. I think a lot of that is founded in the builders' ethos and ethics that I think the true builders have got, and they kind of echo that, and it's really important, I think, to keep that.
Yeah, and I think that's going away. I think that's going.
I think that with the ease of the printing, I think it's good to get some of these people that probably wouldn't approach these projects to get them started and realize that they can get their hands dirty and kind of build. Because even if you print the whole thing, you still have to assemble it. If you're making a droid that drives, you got to figure out all the RC components, and it puts people that, again, wouldn't typically, like our friend Tim. He's like, he's awesome, and he's done a BB-8 now, and he's, you know, like, probably wouldn't have approached that without the printing aspect of people sharing the files. So, you know, the files are there, but it still takes a lot of work to complete something, even if you're building it.
Yeah, introduced a whole new group to building that would never have.
Yeah.
And some really talented people that were probably told when, you know, they're growing up that that's not a viable way to do things, just to be a maker or whatever. And then you see people that blossom because of this, and they come up with all kinds of creative ideas that they probably wouldn't have approached 5 years ago, which is, I like that aspect.
Yeah, and that's all the good parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, that's something I'm really keen on, is just unlocking that talent in people, and you know, sharing everything, not just sharing the files, but also sharing how you do things and
the methods, painting and gluing and little tricks that they figured out along the way. That stuff's awesome. And the more people do it, then the faster everybody learns stuff, which is kind of cool.
And that spirit's still alive.
Yeah.
The sharing and the exchange of information, and, you know.
And that's what I mean. We're the custodians of that going forward, and it can go, like I said, it can go two ways. But I think we've got to influence it and try it to instill that in everybody. I know it's.
You just need to make fun of all the people who cheat it. You know, just super publicly shame them as much as possible.
Yes, tie them up, throw rotten fruit at them like we do in the UK. Yeah, absolutely. Right, so we're getting close. We've done it nearly an hour, which is incredible, and probably could go on for another hour.
We're just getting started.
It's only 11. It's only 11 a.m. We just got like a good 6 more hours.
Yeah, we got at least 6-8 more hours. Yeah.
So
a day with.
Yeah.
A day in the life of.
What time is it there right now?
It's 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock in the evening. Yeah, so it's dark, miserable, slightly wet.
Like in the future?
Yeah. Do you have the lottery numbers?
Good. Yeah, speaking of the future, so we've got movies coming out very shortly. I think it's next week. I believe so.
Amazing. That's exciting.
Are you going to see him?
Dramatic pause.
Yeah. So no. What's your plan for next week? Have you got any cinema trips?
Not me.
I'm gonna go on.
I got left out.
I won't be doing the premiere, but I'll be doing the day after. They have an early screening for like friends and family kind of thing. But rando, like I didn't get the invite because nobody loves me. But Tom Spina was able, like he got the invite and passed me along as a guest. That was very nice. But
nobody loves me more because I don't even have plans to see it.
Ever? He saw those trolls on the internet. He's like, I can't ever see this movie now.
I'm gonna drive myself with my family, and we're gonna go see it. Probably
with your family.
After like,
say it with more enthusiasm, man.
Probably after like millions of people have already seen it.
I'll spoil it. I'm gonna put photos on the internet the second I see it. Take pictures, and then I'm gonna post them all over your page.
There you go.
And what's your feeling? Seriously, I mean, have you seen much of it? What's your feelings and what's your excitement about it? What's your thoughts about the new movie?
I'm being cautious mentally, so I don't go and feel disappointed if I leave and if I go see it and it's not what I expect, I don't want to be too bummed out. So if I keep my expectations really low, then this isn't bashing anything. I just
It can at least meet your
I
expectations.
really I would rather go in there not hoping for anything and then believe
Be pleasantly surprised.
yeah, or at least entertained. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And so I'm just
Wish you were with friends.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to. We'll see. Like if everything is good and I don't curse out loud during the movie, that'll be good. So, but
At least I'm gonna be with
I
my
already,
family.
I'm going to see it on the 20th and on the 17th. So I'm already gonna see it multiple times. So
You're already committed, yeah.
was that?
I
Oh,
have
the
to
19th,
go,
not the 20th. I always get this wrong.
yeah.
I keep thinking we're doing a thing.
He's
on
in the future, and you're already.
We're doing a thing on the Victor's back here behind the camera, and we're doing a thing on the 19th, and I keep thinking it's the 20th in my head, and I keep telling you it's the 19th. I'm going to go on the 20th. I'll meet you up there.
So I actually have to go to a thing. I'm leaving from here, going to whatever.
Thing going
But
Thing,
I
yeah.
will get to see the movie. I don't. I'm afraid to say everything. They all have me so
No,
scared.
you don't have to say you're working it. You're just.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'll be in Hollywood in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I won't get to see the movie. Oddly enough,
You know what? You won't be watching it.
I won't get to watch it. I'll have to watch it later, a few days later.
You'll be busy doing something.
I'll be walking around after, hoping not to hear any spoilery things.
Oh my
Yeah, everybody's going to be talking about it on the way out of the
Everybody's
theater.
going to be talking about, that scene where R2 killed everyone, and I'm like, I didn't want to hear that.
So I'm not. I used to be really sensitive to spoilers, and then back when the Phantom Menace was coming out, I was so not going to watch anything. And then they had the premiere on TV. I was in Florida. See the news was there after the premiere, and they go up to this kid and they're like, "Did you like the movie?" And the kid's like, "My favorite part was when Darth Maul gets cut in half." And I was like, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" And you just can't undo that.
And then he went and he punched a kid on TV.
Oh.
It was really
Yeah. Again.
You shouldn't punch
I
children
was
on
so
television.
mad. I'm like, you let that come through you just spoiled like a big part for tons of people. So after that, I'm like, you know what? I can't get this attached to not knowing things, because if something slips, you can't unknow it. It's not like what is that movie? The Dangerous Confessions of a Spotless Mind. No, you know which one I'm talking about. Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, yeah.
When he gets his mind erased and delete his girlfriend.
It's true. Well, that's a whole other topic. We'll be back next week.
Spoiler deletion
Talking
program.
about-
Yeah, we'll look forward to that. So,
Now if you could make a spoiler
Forgot.
deleter.
Yeah. I should.
Michael has completely lost control here.
I get super.
He's
I'm
just
reading
waiting
the
for us
comments.
to
I'm reading the comments.
Yeah,
This should be every Sunday, it says in the comments from some mad lunatic, obviously.
Yeah.
What did it say? Every Sunday?
This should be every Sunday. This should happen every
that's someone who
Sunday.
should probably be taking their meds on a regular basis.
It's like a series. It'd be like the Waltons, a really bad version of it.
We should do one like What's in Victor's House.
Oh,
We've never
yeah.
been there.
We should go to strangers' houses and do
Strangers' houses. Like
Yeah,
what's in your house?
Yeah, just one.
Watching.
this revolver.
We can do that. Right, guys, we're gonna wrap up. But a massive thank you, and I know you are incredibly busy, and we've hopefully managed to squeeze in between your schedules. A huge thanks for everything that you do, both as custodians of the building community, and I know we laugh about it, but I know you're so passionate about continuing to drive that mindset. So massive thanks. Look forward
Smile
to
for me, Michael.
Oh, why didn't you get the whole?
Oh,
background?
that's beautiful. Very photogenic.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, and we'll look forward to watching the new movie next week. Not got long to wait now.
Hey!
It'll be fantastic, and then there'll be lots of conversations thereafter. So,
Spoilers
okay.
Immediate spoilers. Worse than The Mandalorian. Yeah.
No. Yes, exactly. No spoilers. No spoilers on the group whatsoever, please, and no spoilers for The Mandalorian. We don't get Disney TV.
Bravo!
March. Is it March? Yeah, March in the UK. We might be in the future at the moment, but we're about 6 months behind when it comes to Disney Plus. So,
You get a VPN, right?
well, can't talk about that, Gordon. I'm sorry.
Oh. And on that note, look at the time.
We know a person, and there is a way of the thing that we can do, and in vagaries, as always.
Electronic.
Right, guys. Take care, and I'm hopefully I will see you in person at Celebration, and we can drink beer,
I'll be there.
and eat donuts.
Oh.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
We'll bring you a donut, a special one.
Thank you. Right,
Have
stop
fun.
streaming.
Chocolate dumpling.
Bye. Happy Christmas as well to everybody.
yeah, Merry
you
Christmas.
Christmas special. That's why I got these hats on.
Oh wait.
Do it. Have you got your dance?
Here it comes. One more
Let's go out on Gordon's dancing hat.